If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. This is important stuff that people should know leading into the circus that will be tomorrow. Before I get into it, I just want to say really fast to the YouTube algorithm and all of the people out there who constantly do videos, who don't listen to a word that I say, that think I'm a Trump supporter. I am not a Trump supporter. I am not a Biden supporter. I am not an Obama supporter. I have never voted or supported anyone in any party. That includes the Tea Party. That includes voting and going to the polls and writing Scott Baio's name on a certificate as a joke, because I don't believe any of it is real. I expect, this is how real I think all this is. I mean, I'm waiting during the inauguration tomorrow for Ric Flair to pop out of a cake with a steel chair in his hands, only to be, to confront Biden and be saved by Hulk Hogan. That, to me, is what politics are. That's what I believe. So this is not any support of any of the charades that have been going on in this country that they continue to want people to believe in. But, again, if this video gets a flag or a strike or demonetized, it just shows you that they don't want you to know that politics are a scam, that the left and right is a scam, because that's exactly what it is. So this is not a pro-Trump video or an anti-Biden video. This is an anti-politics video, because none of these people are really running or being elected. They're pre-selected by their brothers in the secret society. So there is a new narrative, and I want to show you this in a second. Along with the other thing I've been talking about was how military is showing up in all of these states around the country and going to capitals. I'm going to show you a clip just from what's going on in California. Okay? In California, they literally, I'm laughing because, I mean, military might like never before is the headline in California. Military might like never before. So they're either preparing everybody for something, or this is going to be the beginning of some type of constant bringing in of the National Guard all of the time to get people conditioned and used to seeing the National Guard in their cities and towns, almost like it's seeing the police.
Military might like our area has never seen before.
CBS 13 Steve Large is live with this incredible display, Steve, of military power.
Yeah, and this is a live look right now at the east end of the Capitol. And this is a troop-moving vehicle, and there are lots of these vehicles stationed all across the downtown core of Sacramento right now. It is an incredible show of strength, and so far there have been no signs of violence. Night Watch and the California National Guard. Military trucks lining the streets under the brightly lit Capitol dome, armed guardsmen protecting the downtown grid. How do you feel about the military show of force here?
No comment.
He says he came down to show his respect for the president.
I just want to support the president. Thank you, Trump, for putting America first.
So military might like never before, conditioning or not. Trump's already come out, and Trump has said he's leaving. Who knows if that's true or not? I guess it is at this point, but I mean, nothing at this point surprises me. Whatever the script says is what they're going to go by. This is something else that everyone needs to see. As of a few hours ago, they are dismissing members of the National Guard because they have a new narrative. Now, there's a few things that are really concerning. The new narrative is that they're vetting people in the National Guard, which you would think they might do in advance. You'd think, right? They're vetting people in the National Guard who are Trump supporters or MAGA or any of this nonsense, or they believe is a threat to turn. I mean, this is like out of... it's really just out of a movie is what it is. You know, they might show up there with plans to disrupt the inauguration or something like that. So they've dismissed these people. And of course, they're linking them to conspiracy.
U.S. Army National Guard members now removed from inauguration duty as part of the security vetting process. Investigators say they have found to have ties to fringe militia groups. The Defense Department and the FBI have not said what group the Guard members belong to.
Pete, let me also ask you while you're here, the U.S. has filed conspiracy charges against an Oath Keeper leader. We did see some video on the day of the siege of what looked like these coordinated formations moving very deliberately up the Capitol Hill steps. People who were in military gear, it said Oath Keeper on the back of much of that gear. Pete, what can you tell us about this conspiracy charge?
Well, it is a conspiracy charge. They're basically, they say there were 3 people that were involved with the Ohio Oath Keepers, and that they talked about coming here in advance, looked for hotel rooms, seemed to be kind of coordinated as they went in. A group of 8 to 10 people, they say, that seemed to be coordinated when they went into the Capitol, and once they got in, seemed to have, in essence, a kind of command and control structure. There are 3 people that are connected with this, 2 of them from Ohio, 1 of them from Pennsylvania, I think, and this is part of the FBI's real effort here to focus on, to what extent was there a command and control structure? People planning this in advance, running it once it got in there. And a lot of these people are current or former military, and they had military-type garb on. They were wearing body armor or helmets or goggles, sort of tactical equipment, many with Oath Keeper patches. Yeah. There have been about 11 people identified that are in what you might call radical extremist groups. The 3%ers, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, the QAnon. So that's been a real focus of the FBI.
Now, one of the things, in addition to them pretty much saying, look, these guys, we have them connected to conspiracies and Q. Of course, Q again, for the millionth time, which I've covered, Q just constantly, we've been saying it for years. I said it in one of my previous videos. How many truth channels have been saying it? And you know what the response was? You're just jealous because QAnon's bigger. Actually, my channel would have been bigger than any following QAnon would have had if it didn't get censored, and a lot of other truthers would be too. The reason that all of us didn't believe it is because there's nobody on the inside. This ain't a movie, okay, where there's somebody on the inside. That's like saying there's somebody on the inside in the mob and they don't know he's there and he doesn't get whacked or vanish overnight, a la Jimmy Hoffa. Don't work like that. They're not leaking it. Trump's not leaking it. And the insane theory of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. leaking it just shows you how desperate people are to cling on to something that isn't real. You want to cling on to something that is real? Cling on to Jesus Christ. Because that's the only truth in this world. And that's the only thing that matters. You ain't getting salvation through Trump, whether you believe that he's on the good guys' team or the bad guys. You're getting it through Christ. So stop putting all your eggs in this basket and thinking that things are going to be perfect and wonderful. This is all planned out like a chess game in advance. They know what's coming. They make the rules. They want us to follow it in a certain way. And the goal is not to let your emotions get involved in this and to watch it from a perspective where you can actually assess what they're doing, realize what they're doing, and warn people about what they're doing. Because they show you in advance. They give you cookie crumbs. This isn't done by design. This is part of sigil magic. And this is part of the law of the universe, the law that they have to tell you this stuff. And they do tell it to you, but they use sarcasm. They use movies, so they fictionalize it. And then you just see it all come to fruition, and people are like, nah, come on, call for an uprising. Now, the second thing that's concerning about people in the National Guard, again, this is part of a storyline, right? Like I said earlier, like a wrestling storyline. The 12 National Guard members who were removed from inauguration duty. Listen to this. This is according to NBC. And this should just concern people in general. 12 National Guard members were removed from inauguration duty, including 2 for inappropriate comments or texts. We have 2 individuals that were identified as making inappropriate comments or texts. One was removed after fellow troops brought the members' comments to the attention of Guard officers. Hi, have you read 1984? This is what they want society to turn into, and this is what's happening with cancel culture and all these morons out there who are tattling and crying because they don't have a pair of balls and they can't do anything on their own, and they sit behind a computer, and it comes face to face, they get laid out or worse, and they sit there and they do this. 1984 specifically talks about people being rewarded for ratting people out who are behind the scenes, might be saying things or going against the system or might be a threat to it. And this right here is the military telling you, troops went to guard officers and tattletaled on other troops. Thus, this is where it gets better. Does anybody care about their privacy? It's almost like people feel like they have a right to see your text messages or to see your emails or to see anything that you say, like it's public info. And this is what social media has done to everyone. This is why I've been saying for decades that Facebook is the cancer of society, and Twitter, and everybody thinks they're their own PR person, right? You see the crazy lunatics on here who think that they have a right to see my face, right? Oh, it's my right to see your face. I listen to your content. I'm your Patreon. Well, then don't be my Patreon. You don't have a right to nothing. You have a right to listen if you want to listen, and that's about it. But people feel entitled to these things. Oh, I deserve to see somebody's text messages. Oh, and this is just predecessor to that. Guards ratting on other guards. And sure, is it a fake story? Highly likely it's a fake story. But it's the point when seeds continue to get planted through repetition with stuff like this. People start acting this way and demanding this way. Ooh, we deserve to see his text messaging. Ooh, we deserve to oh, he said what? Is there no free speech anymore? What's a joke and what's not a joke? What's sarcasm, what's not? Doesn't seem to be a problem with these lowlifes on late night television who use sarcasm all the time and pretty much say that they want people like me and you dead. That's okay, right? Because they're using sarcasm. But when I'm using sarcasm, it's a no. We can't have anyone wake up. We can't have anyone laugh at us because we're all cowards. Nobody cares about their privacy or their rights anymore as they remove them and remove them and remove them. So get ready for more repetition like this. Oh, well, because now conspiracy theorist people are the threats in this country, the extremists, the T word, which I don't even think you could say with the algorithm, we need to be able to access all of their personal stuff. There's no such thing as a joke when it comes to them because they're dangerous. This is where it's going. And a fake story like this is the perfect way to start planting seeds with it, right? So in the event that something happens tomorrow, you know why it's happening, you know who's behind it, you know the purpose behind it and the agenda behind it. They have never been so scared, ever. You know, and do I feel like I'm a part of the reason? I do in a sense, but I don't like to pat myself on the back or give myself any credit for anything because there's a lot of people who do a lot better work than me. But I know my voice is something that scares them. Even just making humor out of the nonsense that they do helps wake people up, and that scares them. They are putting their foot on the gas because they know that this whole thing can crack in half and break open. And suddenly all the witches and the occultists who run the world would be living back in the 1700s where they didn't stand much of a chance, where you can get a pitchfork and say, night, night, bye. Don't forget, folks. Well, I can't say it on here, but it's a pretty cool Bible quote. Exodus 22, verse 18. Exodus chapter 22, verse 18. Check it out. Look it up. Huh. Interesting. So the cowards continue to cower. The stupid, ridiculous stories continue to come out. And here's another narrative that we now have in play for whatever charade might go down tomorrow or might be coming soon because they might just be getting people ready to see the military all the time and tanks all the time in their towns to where they go, oh, it's the big deal. It's just there. And more show up. And like that video shows, the headline, military might like never before. Over what? Over what? Nothing has happened. That's in Sacramento, I believe, California. Nothing's occurred there. They show a guy walking around with a flag on. But military might like never before. Not even after the towers and that whole thing went down. You know, with the narrative that they gave, did we see anything like this in any state? But because some people put their feet on a desk, scaled buildings like Batman, and resembled CIA agents, we have military might like never before. Hope to see you guys over on the website. I want to thank the Patreons again for being here. It's because of you it keeps this YouTube channel going. I mean that sincerely. So if you're not a Patreon and you'd like me to stay here on YouTube, please consider becoming one. It's nonsense on here is just ridiculous. I try to put a little focus into YouTube today since it's kind of been a while since I focused here. So Check out the website if you haven't, because eventually that's the only place we're going to be able to go. Thanks again, everyone. God bless you and your families. And let's see what the circus has for us in store tomorrow. Or I should say, in store for us tomorrow.